trip. Really excited about the win. Northwestern's a tough football team. Take their record aside, that's a Pat Fitzgerald coach football team who's really good. And if you want to be a Big Ten West champ, you got to beat the Big Ten West champ. So no matter what, it had to go through Northwestern, and that's how we treated it all week. Got a lot of respect for Coach Fitzgerald, one of the best coaches in our league, and we knew they'd come out and play really, really tough, really hard-nosed football. And quarterback wrinkle that they had, we hadn't prepared a lot for, so we had to adjust a lot of that game plan on the sideline. But I'm really proud of our players responding. The word of the week was respond. And I told a lot of you who were at Iowa that when we were in the locker room after the game, that team in that locker room could have played right after that. They wanted to play that bad. They wanted to get that taste out of their mouth so bad. And they showed us that on Sunday. We thought maybe that was just some emotion in there and Saturday after the loss. But then they came right back on Sunday and bam. We had one of our best Sundays that we've had in a long time. And then Tuesday, Wednesday were the same. Just locked in on Thursday and our walkthrough to Friday. It was so fast. And they were so locked in. So give them a lot of credit. Give our staff a lot of credit to be able to respond after a very, very emotional win and then a very, very emotional loss, and then come back and everybody's talking about a week out and you've got to stay focused on 1 week. It's very difficult to do. And that's fighting human nature every single day. And that's what our program does, is fight human nature the best we possibly can. Got to give Northwestern a lot of credit, though. That they fight, they scratch, they claw, they're tough. They got a really good defense, Our players just made a lot of plays today. The coordinators called really good games, and we found a way to win. So 1-0 Northwestern season, Northwestern championship, Big Ten West season is what we called it, because you had to go through there to get to a championship, and we were able to accomplish that. So 1-0. With that, we'll open up for questions.
Facing a team like that, that's having a season like that, how important is a fast start?
Incredible. That's what we talk about: response. We have a saying in our program: start fast, accelerate in the middle, and finish strong. Right? We want to do that all the time. But to expect 18 to 22-year-old kids to do that in every area of their life, every single day, all the time, it's not necessarily realistic. But we strive for that perfection and strive for that realism all the time. We needed to, and they responded. They're the ones that got to make the plays on the field, but that was a clear message from the beginning that we had to start fast. And that's what champions do. That's what championship style football looks like. Comes out of the gate, put 21 points on the board like that, and then we had some unfortunate things happen that kept them in the game, and but we responded to that as well.
What was the decision-making process like with Tanner? When did you know?
Yeah, good question. The good thing about the things that happen with our players with their head, I have no control over. Those are the best decisions because I don't have to make that decision. It's one of the only decisions as a head coach you never have to make. But he went through the protocol. Protocol is a broad word. It can last almost all week. There are certain tests he has to pass, whether that's written, whether that's computer tests, and then he's got to be able to be cleared to have a non-contact practice, and then a contact practice, and then he's available to go. So he did not practice on Tuesday. So we had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday recovering of not practicing. Then he was able to practice limited on Wednesday. You got to give him a lot of credit because of the limited amount of reps he had to be able to play like he did. I'm not sure exactly. 15 of 23 with 1 interception and 4 touchdowns. That's pretty good, But again, you could just tell there were some things he was just a little off on today, and that's when you miss practice as a quarterback. You get in such a great rhythm, and that's why we were very proud to have him back. But if he wasn't back, we were happy to have him back. But if he wasn't back, we felt the other 2 kids would be able to help us and make some plays.
How do you look at that second quarter? Some of the miscues, not catching the punt, kind of the interception, those kinds of things that let him back in the game.
What did you say? The drop punt and what else?
Yeah, and the interception and just.
Yeah, Gallagher makes a really good play. He's a really good linebacker. He baits Tanner right into the throw. He makes a great play. And ball could be a little bit higher, a little bit more inside, but the kid makes a great play. He's a really good player, right? And then the drop punt, we just got to catch it. And we didn't use our technique on that. Demetrius is usually very, very sure-handed. But again, we did so many great things, and we're going to focus on that right now, how many great things we did. Tomorrow I'm going to focus on all the things we didn't do well. But what I'm proud of is we were able to respond to that. Not that we had necessarily stopped them right there, but we were able to keep responding, right? We came back and got a 3-and-out on the defense, which was huge. Then we were able to score again, and I think that put some distance between it where now we could clock manage and do what we needed to do, and we felt possibly we could have the game at hand towards that fourth quarter.
What's it been good to see to have 2 of them receivers?
Well, I think that's a credit to Kirk Shiraka. I think it's a credit to all of our position coaches of how hard they work in training our players, developing our players on and off the field, mentally, physically, and emotionally. You got to perform every single week. You know, and this is big boy football, and you got to perform every single week up to a high standard, not only of just the outside world. You got to perform at the standard inside of our program. You know, we have 85 guys above a 3.0. No coincidence now they're having success on the field like this. Uncommon success. It's all correlated. You can't be non-elite in one area and think you're going to be elite in another. It's all connected. Socially, spiritually, it's all connected through the 4 parts that we talk about. But when you have a 1,000-yard rusher, Rodney Smith, 2,000-yard receivers, and you're in 11 games, I think that just shows where Coach Shiraka is taking this offense, where we're developing it in it too, and how we constantly find new ways to evolve, because we don't run the same things all the time, you know, and we're evolving it, making a really good game plan based on defenses that we see. But the credit goes to the players. Rashad Bateman, I think, is one of the best players in the country, you know, a finalist for the Litnikoff, and I mean, in my opinion, I think he's the best receiver in the country. I think 1B could be Tyler Johnson. 1A, 1B, they're together. However you want to put them together, they're put together. I'm not sure how someone like that gets left off the list, but we have 2,000-yard receivers, and they both complement each other. Rashad Bateman, his best friend is Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson's best friend is Rashad Bateman, because if they didn't have each other, it's very easy to take one guy out of a game. And that's part of the reason I think Tyler came back when it was the football decision, because he knew he'd be able to have one-on-one coverage a lot more, not see that bracket like he did in the first year, and even last year when Rashad was starting to come onto the scene. But we have some explosive playmakers, and you can throw, you know, Chris Altman-Bell in there, who's done it all year, and Demetrius Douglas as well. But again, it comes down to you got to be able to run the football, and we were able to do that tonight. I mean, we ran for 212 yards, and no coincidence, it opened up our pass game and our RPO game.
A lot of things have happened that haven't happened in Minnesota positively in a long time. Now you got 1 win away from winning the West. It's got to be quite an accomplishment.
Well, it's quite an accomplishment when everybody picked us to be 6th in the West. You know, I think that's you know, you kind of go by where people pick you from the outside. And you know what kind of team you have, and I remember telling everybody in January, I said, I really like this football team. I can't promise you what they're going to do. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I really like this football team. This is the first 10-win regular season since 1905. This is the first 7-win regular season in the history of our school in the conference. Think about that for 1 second, right? And we can talk about all the things we don't do or haven't done or won't do, or we can all go back and look at, Iowa. Or this is a very, very special football team with special people, with special fans, a special university, a special president, a special athletic director who really care about the whole person. And that's why it's so fun to coach here at the University of Minnesota, because there's so many people who care about the entire person, not just the wins, not just the losses, not just how they played. And my hat's off to everybody. And you know, again, this is another Minnesota win. But when you get picked 6th in the West, and now you're in a position to go win it, 1-game championship season against your rival. You know, I'm not sure if College Game Day is coming, but I'm not going to make another case. Hope they do. I'll let Andy do that. You can make the case.
You said you liked the focus. Did you guys feel like you had to do anything as a staff to keep guys from not looking ahead to next
No, I'll be
week?
honest with you, no. I mean, our culture, it's very difficult because, again, like I said before, it fights human nature. So the amount of focus you have to have every single day to continue to get better academically, athletically, socially, and then how you serve and give and make your life about someone else or something bigger than you, and be demanded to do all those things every day, and then when you wake up the next day, you got to do it better than you did it yesterday. It's very difficult, but that's what our program demands, and so they're used to that. They understand what they're going to hear. When they come in to the team meeting on Sunday, you can't tell whether we won or lost. We celebrate, and then that's over. So that's the difference between winning and losing. But we even celebrated our loss. We celebrated the loss on Sunday, high-fiving each other because of all the things we just learned about ourselves, that we're not perfect, right? That we are diamonds, but there are little deficiencies in diamonds at times, right? That's why diamonds have these huge rankings, right? One diamond can cost this and one diamond can cost this just because of the imperfections in it. So we had a few imperfections, right? But we could still be a diamond and continue to still be better. So to get them back in the culture, back in the 4 walls, and continue just to say, hey, forget the result, right? The result's going to be the result, win or lose. Last week, if we would have found a way to come back on that last drive, would that have changed anything in the first quarter and 3/4 of the fourth quarter? No, we didn't play well enough, right? But they don't see necessarily the result on Sunday. They see how we got to whatever we got to, and then we fix those things. And they've consistently had that message, and they've done that every single week. Our staff has, plus our players.
You've talked a lot over the years about what a mentor Pat Fitzgerald's been to you. What's it mean to compete? I mean, not the first game you play against him, but with states like this, with the division still on the line and so forth, I mean, what's it to be on the stage?
First of all, Pat Fitzgerald, I think, is one of the best football coaches in college football. I've always thought that. He's been a great friend to Heather and I. He's been a great mentor to me. He's never, ever been afraid to share something. It all goes back when I asked him to go to lunch that one day in Evanston, and he said yes when I was a wide receiver coach at Northern Illinois. When you have people who really take you in and know you're going to do something with your life, that's why I wear my tie. Jim Tressel, Mike Nolan, and those two are very important in my life. I talked to Tressel after the Iowa loss. I talked to Mike Nolan after the Iowa loss. I talk to them usually each week. Pat Fitzgerald and I text throughout the season, which is very rare for coaches to do. The other one that I might do that with is James Franklin. But Pat was one that really kind of take me in, and when I watched his teams as I was going through the progression, they were always tough. They were always smart. They didn't beat themselves. They might not have had as much talent as everybody else, but man, were they tough. They were tough on defense. They were sound on offense. And when I watch them, I'm like, that's what I want my team to look like. And when you have a guy that he took over at a very young age in a very difficult situation, you can relate to that a little bit, then I think you connect a little bit deeper and further. And he's one of the classiest men in college football. He's done a lot for the game of football with the AFCA. He's done a lot, and he's given back to the game that's given so much to him.
At what point do you think people will stop being surprised by Tanner Morgan?
Are they still surprised?
It's out there.
Well, I mean, we live in Minnesota. Everybody's surprised. That's what we're doing everything we can to change. But here's the thing. One thing I know about Tanner is judgments of him or opinions of him will never matter to him. One thing that young man does is he answers to a higher power. That's that kid. So it doesn't matter what anybody says about him. His world is significant. It's big. It's massive. It's unending. Sky's the limit. No ceiling. Because he is who he is. He's a real guy, a real person. And he is one of the hardest workers we have on the team. I mean, he's, before last year, he won 11 in a row, lost one, then just won a big game on the road, right, to put us at 10 wins, which hasn't happened since 1905. I'm going to repeat myself, 1905. Now, if anybody's alive besides Sid Hartman since 1905, please raise your hand. But my point of that is I don't think, I'm never one to sit here and say convince. I don't want to convince anyone. It's like recruiting. I never have a kid sit down, I'm going to convince you to come play for me. It's very easy to tell whether you're a right fit for me or you're not a right fit for me. But I don't want the wrong fit for me to convince to come because all of his stars or because somebody tells me I have to do something. Tanner's the same way. Tanner's going to prove to himself that he's good enough. And so you ask that question, we talk about this, that everybody has a chip on their shoulder, right? I'm going to prove something to you. Tanner doesn't prove anything to anybody. He's proving to himself he's exactly who he says he is every day. And that's the crack. That's the difference between the chip and the crack. When you're proving to yourself you're exactly who you say you are, you're on the right track. Because once you do something, they're going to find something that you didn't do. Right? And that's part of your jobs, right? Is, okay, they did this, but what didn't they do? Right? And that's okay. That's healthy. Because that also makes us better. Right? So that's the type of kid he is, though. The type of young man he is. And he's one of the toughest individuals I've ever been around.
We'll take one more for Coach. Why do you think things have gone the way they have this year, and what do you think is going to be the key for him to get them back to where they were next year?
Garrett Chernoff always hands me different things each week to make me feel better. Because at the beginning of the week, coaches feel you can't beat anybody. Like at the beginning of the week, you're just sitting there, oh my goodness, oh geez, you're watching film, you're diagnosing things, and he hands me a piece of paper and talks about how many teams have had back-to-back 8 or 9 win seasons in a row. And you'd be shocked how hard 3 years in a row to sustain that is. This is the parity in college football is unbelievable. What he's done for the to Northwestern University, what he's done for the football program here, what he's done for the cultural sustainability of this program. He was a Big Ten West champ last year. There's injuries involved in that. There's highs, there's lows, there's years you're going to be really good when you don't think you're going to be good. Then there's years you're supposed to be good, you don't do very good. And then there's times where you're supposed to be in the middle and you're in the middle. Those are the waves that a lot of people aren't willing to ride out and ride out. I mean, he had 2 back-to-back 4-8s, and then boom, came back and won 10 games. That's what cultural sustainability does to you. He's one of the greatest college football coaches, I think, in one of the hardest jobs in the country when he got it. To be able to do what he's done, he's a legendary coach. In my mind, he is. And I don't know why those things happen. I've been 1-11. I've been 13-0. I've been now 10 wins at Minnesota. I was the worst coach at Minnesota ever in my first year here with 5 wins. It's college football. Jim Tressel had the greatest quote. He said, PJ, you know why I loved coaching college football instead of the pros? I go, why? He goes, you just never know what's going to happen to their kids. Now, our jobs are on the line because of the kids, the young people, the young men, these student athletes, but you have no idea. And then you have really good players, and maybe you're deep, and you have a few injuries, that affects a team. So again, but the way they come out and play, you would think they're 9-1. And that's what I told him beforehand. I said, you think you are 9-1 off film. You didn't look at the score, but you think you're 9-1. Right? And that's a complete compliment to him and his staff.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, really good. Scotty, you want to go Gophers?
We're up.
Appreciate it. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, great people. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Wait, bring me back.
Players now.
What do you mean? No,
Oh, bro, listen, yeah, you go stand up there.
Got Antoine Whitfield Jr. Once he gets to the podium, we'll go ahead and take questions.
Antoine, how important was it to start fast after the slow start last week?
It was extremely important. We knew from last game that we had to start fast in order for us to win games, and that's what we came out here and did today. So we knew it was important.
Being 1 win away from now winning this division, lights at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this ever since last winter, and it's just important that we just continue to keep getting better. We know we have a great opponent ahead of us, and we just got to go ahead and go to work this week in practice.
What was it like Washington's here? Protocol this week?
I could tell he was going to be ready to play during practice. He came back and did well during practice. I knew he was going to be fine.
When did you guys always had faith in yourselves, but at what point, whether it was back in the spring or early this season, did you guys feel as players in the locker room like, we can do this, we can win this season?
I feel like we felt that way for a while. Like I said, last winter is when we started like doing the winter conditioning workouts. We brought it during workouts, and you could just see like the whole team's vibe, just working together and competing against each other. We knew that we were going to be something special.
What happened then at the end of the first half?
Yeah, we just got to do a better job of stopping the run. I feel like that was one of the main problems, and we're just going to work on that and watch the film tomorrow and get better.
Much of a change were they when they switched quarterbacks or had to switch quarterbacks?
I feel like they ran the ball a lot more, especially with the quarterback, running quarterback. And so we just knew that we just had to go out there and just stop him and try to control him as much as possible.
Can you walk us through the strip sack that knocked Hunter out of the game?
Yeah, so it was a blitz, safety blitz, and I came down and they parted wide open for me, and I just made a tackle on the quarterback. I seen the ball was out and tried to pop up, but I got pushed down by somebody, I don't know.
What was the film cut like in playing against Mary Smith, Hunter Johnson, Rosemary out there? What was the main differences?
We just knew whoever came out, we watched enough film to whoever came out, we feel like we were going to just do our job, and that's what we came out here and did.
Any more for Antoine?
And then just what's the delivery to you? You know, you have this game in between with Wisconsin, it's the first
us here, we're just ready to work, ready to get after it. We know we have a big week ahead of us as far as practice and everything, and we're just ready to get after it.
All right, thank you, Antoine.
We'll be right back with another player.
Thanks, dude.
Am I on? No, it's
Oh, good luck, dude.
Chris.
I don't think anyone's even using that almost. It's just Billy and I.
Yeah, as long as it's ours, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with it. Excuse me, I'll get it out of the way right now.
Tyler Johnson coming in.
Excuse me.
Once he gets to the podium, we'll go ahead and take questions. Questions for Mr. Johnson?
What's it like to have you and Rashad both over 1,000 yards?
Feels pretty good. We wouldn't be able to do that without the offensive linemen, without Tanner, without the running backs and tight ends. So I think that everybody's job comes into play whenever something like that happens. So appreciate those guys as well.
It's great that what you guys are doing, and you're doing it in a winning situation where you're one win away from doing something Minnesota's never done before. That's gotta be really cool.
Definitely feels pretty cool. Just being able to go out there and be 1-0 each week is our mentality. Coach Fleck does a great job with that.
You guys talk about one another, now we can talk about the Wisconsin game. I mean, this is the culmination of all the other 1-0s you've had. What are these next 7 days going to be like?
We're going to celebrate today, come back in tomorrow, and get ready to work. Wisconsin's a great team. We're just looking out forward to going out there and doing what we're doing.
How important was it for Tanner to be able to come back and play this game?
Tanner is a great leader. Being able to have him on our side. He responded from last week. Being able to go out there and make plays and lead the team in a positive way. So just having him on our side is great all the time.
What was the atmosphere like starting last Sunday through the week, just as you guys were preparing for this?
We knew we had to get back in and get ready to work. I think Coach Fleck did a great job. The leaders on the team did a great job of that, echoing the message. Things happen in football. We got to come back in and respond.
Maybe nobody on the team can appreciate what Rashad does more than you can, because you know how hard it is to be that good. But at times he impresses you.
Oh, absolutely. Seeing him go out there and making plays, making spectacular catches all the time. But it seems like his routine. He does it all the time in practice, and you know that guy works hard, so he deserves it for sure.
Can you walk us through that over the head catch that you had?
Which one?
Can you walk us through the over the head catch?
Yeah, just being able to coach the Rocket did a great job of the play call, offensive line did a great job blocking, and then Tanner did a great job where I can go up and get it at the highest point. And then I also pull back the turn, which is a little bit taller as well, and just being able to find it.
Tanner missed the job last season. At what point did you feel like you had?
Right whenever you get on campus, being able to get in with all the quarterbacks, get a feel of how they throw the ball, and being able to watch film as well. So we do that with each quarterback, because anything happens, so we just want to make sure everybody good.
What is the this offense this year? There's 2,000 seasons.
Everybody's out there doing their job. Offensive line really is what makes everything work. They're our engine. Rodney did a great job of being able to lead them, and then we're showing up and execute as well.
Any more for Ty?
Thank you.
I should have said, that's the first time ever with 2 1,000-yard receivers in Minnesota.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I think Morgan's coming next.
Everybody gets
Down here, Tanner. Sneak up through there.
Got quarterback Tanner Morgan coming. Once he gets to the podium, we'll take questions.
What's going on, guys?
Maybe we got a break.
Yeah, it's been a while. Can you take us through the week and how you felt?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you gotta go through the protocol, to get it right, but just very thankful I have, training staff and coaching staff who, helped me and, me and Mo, and helped us to be able to play today, because, I was able to, you know, play today because of them and the things that they helped me do, and, taking it day by day, you know, being able to pass the protocol test, going from limited to, you know, to play. It was a long process, but I'm very thankful, and I had a lot of people praying for me. That was a very big reason I was able to play today.
Did you know about Thursday, Friday you were play, or how does it happen?
You don't have like a for sure. It's always up in the air, so it's a decision that coach would make, and as long as I would continue to pass the test and was able to play, then we gave me the opportunity to play today. I'm very blessed and thankful I had the opportunity to play Saturday.
Talked to Adam Weber this morning, and he said he was hoping you would break that record. It stood so long. What does it mean to you? I know you're not about records, you're just about 1-0, but you are you set the single season touchdown passing record. That record has stood for a while. How does it feel to get that news? I know it's not what you play for, but
yeah, it's cool. You know, there's been a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of great teams come through this university, so yeah, it's really cool. But again, that's not why I'm playing. It's not. I mean, if you don't, there's a lot of aspects that go into that. That's not just a Tanner Morgan thing. That's Coach Rock. That's offensive line, receivers. It's running backs. It's not just an individual thing at all. But yeah, I mean, it's cool.
Fast start today, I mean, coming off the loss. You made quite a statement with a fast start. Is that something, Coach said you kind of had hoped to do that, that's something you were all on the same page on and hoping for?
Yeah, we knew we had to come out fast, come out firing. We always talk about start fast, accelerate in the middle, finish strong. Last week we didn't feel like we started fast at all, so we knew this week we had to come out here and start fast and do what we do and just execute and do our jobs to be able to set us up for success today.
What can you say about the footwork that Rashad had on those touchdowns?
Yeah, unreal. I mean, first the guy was able to get open, create space, but a little toe tap with like a ballerina or something. But yeah, it was awesome for him to be able to show that and do that and stay in and put points up on the board for us.
Coach talked about coming in on Sunday after your first loss and learning about yourselves through a loss and seeing how we respond and this and that. What do you, I mean, that's not the most conventional way to look at it usually,
Right.
especially with 18, 22-year-old kids, but how do you process that and what did you think you learned?
Yeah, it was all about the response and how is this football team going to respond to a loss, you know. But for us, every Sunday when we come in, it's not, it doesn't feel like we win or lose. We're there to put our leather vest on, get better on the field, whether we won or lost. But we knew that we had to respond in a great way this week, and I'm just really proud of our football team for coming out there this week and working really hard. And we changed our best every day. I'm just really proud of our football team for that.
we talk about 1-0 every week, but now we can talk about it. We go 1-0 next week,
Yeah.
playing for the Big Ten championship. I told you that 3 months ago.
Well, I mean, yeah, we believe in the things that we can do as a football team. We got a lot of elite players, really good coaching staff. We know the things that we can do, but it's just really awesome to be just kind of have this opportunity. But that's the way we've set ourselves up every week, is just going, doing everything we can to go 1-0 that week. So this upcoming week, that's what we're going to be doing everything we can do. We just go 1-0.
What do you think it does about this offense that you guys have not only two your receivers, but
Yeah, it shows we got a lot of weapons, and a lot of versatility. But again, like, it all starts up front. You know, if you don't have good run blocking outside zone, inside zone, if you don't have protection, then you're not going to have the guys making plays on the outside, or you know the 1,000-yard rusher. But it's really cool for our offense. It shows just how many weapons we have, and it's just really cool and really elite thing for our offense to have, and for those guys especially.
You did talk about you might have been some touch off on a couple throws and with some reps this week. I mean, how did you feel? And did you feel like you were on the numbers? The result was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I felt fine, but there's definitely some throws that I missed. Wish I could have back. The little post, especially. I could have been a touchdown, missed that, just overthrown. Just a couple things, but again, I just have to be better, and I will be better, and I'll learn from the film and take it from there and get better next week.
Anyone for Tanner? All right, Tanner.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
we'll have Rashad come up, and that'll be our last one. Thanks, Dan. Once Rashad gets to the podium, we'll take questions. Sorry, Rashad.
What did you see at Tanner's? Feel like he was gonna be ready to play?
Yeah, but that really wasn't like up to us at the team. It was up to the training staff. We just all played and he was able to play. So he played well today.
Rashad, what does it mean that over the tie close enough and guys?
It's very special, but you know, there's a lot of things that couldn't happen if it wasn't for Tanner, if it wasn't for our line, if it wasn't for our coaching staff. So just this day, it ain't just me and Todd that we're celebrating with everybody because everybody was a part of that. So.
Sam, you compared a couple of your touchdown catches to being a ballerina with your toe tapping. What did you see when you were trying to get those people in?
Honestly, don't know. I really didn't know where I was on the field. I was just toe tapping and hoping I was in the end zone, and I guess that's where I ended up at. So.
Rashad, I shared a bit about what you see as when you're playing, what makes you good. I was wondering if you could do the same with him, what makes Ty so good?
It's football like you. I mean, he's played football. He's been a Big Ten starter for 4 years, and I just think he got a good feel for the game. He studies, he watches film a lot, and he works on it. And just me, like being behind him, and my routes look. I want to run my routes just like Ty because I seen him be successful in his routes running and things like that. So I just feel like he's a smart player and he goes out there and improves that. So.
If Wisconsin beats Purdue here this afternoon, next week's for the Big Ten West Championship, how do you sum up the stakes of that game?
Wisconsin?
Yeah.
No matter if they win or lose this afternoon, we still need to go and take care of business because we don't know what can happen after that. So we just need to go and take care of business against Wisconsin.
The opportunity to play that, we talk about 1-0 every week, but you go 1-0 next week. Next one is the Big Ten Championship game. Just looking back at the season, what is the opportunity to be for you guys next week?
It's just start back in January. That's what we all work for, and now we got a chance to do it. And the work that we have put in is finally paying off, and we just need to go pay off one more time. And we're there.
What was it about this group that made you think back in January we could do this?
I think it's a special group just because of how hard everybody works, and everybody loves each other, and everybody's willing to do anything for the team, no matter what the job is. And we're showing that, and we're going to continue to show that.
How did creating pressure in January and throughout the year help you guys in moments like in the last week or next week?
We created moments that we play in every weekend. Especially like Penn State game, we were a lot of people like got a lot of pressure on you, but we were listening to the next game that we need to go 1-0 in, and that's how we treat every game. And back in January, the workouts and everything we've done as a team, as a unit, is finally paying off.
Martha, this is maybe a silly question, but I've heard a lot of you guys mention back in January we thought about this and joked about it. Was that just like a general vibe or like whispers to the locker room, or did you guys have a team meeting and say like, we can win the Big Ten West? So like, I'm just kind of curious how that notion came about.
We had a player meeting. We all called a player meeting, and we was like, look, we can be special this year. We just need to work and commit to each other. And at that moment, the team did it. Everybody on the team committed to one another, and that's what we did.
Who called that meeting?
Tanner Morgan.
Does he usually play that role?
He does.
Any more for Rashad?
Do you have, I mean, let me take you one out of the perspective of this, but this program's been around a long time, and there's never been a season that two receivers both 10,000 yards. Just a sense of appreciation. You guys gather right now what's done historically, or is that for conversation for the day?
It's for after the season. Right now, we just need to focus on people's